Hi, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. It might look a little bit different to you if you practice with me with some regularity. For one thing, I'm close to the ground, and we're going to stay that way. I'm not even wearing my usual yoga togs. This is what's called a restorative yoga practice, and it helps to calm our nervous system. You can think of your nervous system as a foot on the gas and a foot on the brake. Most of us are pretty good at the foot on the gas part. Our stress levels can get very high. We want to learn some tools for putting our foot on the brake, calming our nervous system. And we'll do some of that today. There are some props that I highly recommend. One is I have a bolster. I don't expect you to have an official bolster, but I bet you have some things in your house that sort of could be a bolster now that you think about it. Things like some sturdy pillows on your bed or on your couch, or even cushions from your couch. I've got 2 blocks. A great substitute there would be 2 thick books. And a folded blanket, which is as simple as the throw blanket from your couch, or maybe you've got a beach towel or a bath towel. And we'll start in a child's pose, but I'd like for us to prop that child's pose and be thoughtful around that child's pose, and also to think about the pose as a shape that we can assume to turn the arrows of attention inward instead of distractedly outward. It sounds obvious to say it, but when it's actually our turn to climb into it, it can be very tempting to respond to a text or notice what's going on in the next room. Let's try not to. Mindfulness is moment-to-moment awareness without judgment. So I say that because your mind is going to wander, it just is. And when it does, I ask you to be kind, not judge your wandering mind. Have a little kind of chuckle about it, and then bring it back to where you are right now. So here's our child's pose. I'm using my bolster. You might use some sort of a cushion, and I'm just sliding it in between my thighs. There are some of us who will then sink our hips towards our heels and lie down on our bolster or whatever we have. You could even elevate that bolster, putting your books or blocks underneath it. So lots of different techniques. The other thing to be conscious of is that maybe your knees don't really dig this much bend. No problem. Lean it a little bit forward. You'd be a great candidate for elevating your bolster a little bit higher. Be a little bit excited about knowing what you need, instead of feeling like somehow because you're using more props that it's wrong or you're bad at this, because you're not. That's that judgment, that kindness. And then let's find our shape and sit into it. I'm going to be careful of my microphone here as I sit into it. And we will use this pose to stop so that we can start. And what we're stopping is some of that temptation to check our schedule, our texts, check out what's happening in another room. As we feel this little child's pose as a bit of an inward turn, so we're curled up here with ourselves, we have another tool right here in front of us, which is our breath. First, just become aware of your breath. The inhale and the exhale. If you're able to inhale and exhale through your nose, that's kind of what we're moving towards. But any conscious breath is perfect. And right out of the gate here, I'm going to introduce a breathing mantra, if you will, a technique. That when you breathe in, you silently say, let to yourself. And when you breathe out, you silently say, go to yourself. And you let yourself let go. Let go of the temptations to be everywhere else but here. And let yourself go to a place of a little bit more spaciousness, not crowded in thoughts, not crowded with expectations. As if you're allowing yourself to swim into a clear pool of water. Not one that's interrupted with a bunch of disturbances and mud. Clear, spacious. You're letting yourself let go. I'm going to let you have 1 minute of silence here to let go. And we'll start to climb onto all fours. And you might notice that some of that turbulence, some of that, what gets in the way of our clear pool of water, is that we are constantly feeling like we need to be doing something, even here on our yoga mat, right? And I'm going to encourage you to simply be. So let's move our props off to the side for a moment, and then just step your right foot forward and bring your 2 books or blocks so that you might be able to bring your forearms upon them in what's called a humble warrior. I think all of this work in becoming a little bit more still and quiet, encouraging ourselves to be a little bit more than do, is humbling. So you can wear that understanding into this pose, and then also wear our mantra into this pose. Our let on the inhale, go on the exhale. Stir in a little bit of softness in your hands, your face, your jaw. Find just enough stretch here in your right hip and in the front of your left leg. If you want a tiny bit more, you could scoot that left leg back just a little bit, but we're not chasing anything. We're not looking to stir the waters. We're not creating choppy waters. It's that clear pool of water, and we let ourselves let on the inhale, go on the exhale. 1 minute of silence here. Just climb up onto your hands if you're on your forearms. And take your 2 books or blocks to either side of your right leg. Let's straighten that right leg. I like my blocks tall because I'm thinking of hinging and creating some space on the back of that right leg and in my spine. And there's no agenda to try to get my face close to my leg. You can walk those blocks out a little bit and then find that perfect porridge is just right spot where you can let on your inhale, go on your exhale. We'll have our 1 minute of silence in this stretch as well. And when you encounter some turbulence, some choppy water, it's okay. Come back to let go. And know that you're not doing anything wrong. 1 minute, starting now. Let's move slowly as we bend our right knee and swoop that right knee next to our left, and then just step your left leg forward, stack your 2 books or blocks, and arrange it so that it makes sense on this side. You're not expecting this side to be the first side. You might need to or want to stay up on your hands. You could use your folded blanket to pad something like your right knee, your back knee. Maybe you come onto your forearms. Part of that really spacious, quiet, clear pool of water is that it encourages you to stay curious, not judgmental, but you're just swimming and observing and learning. And here in our humble warrior on our second side, we have another full minute of silence to let on your inhale and go on your exhale. Let's move slowly again as we come up onto our hands, and we'll frame our left leg, straightening that left leg out with our 2 books or blocks. And again, I like to keep my blocks tall. Doesn't mean you have to, but we're not rounding and trying to get our face close to our leg. We're creating space inspired by that let go mantra and the visualization of a clear, spacious pool of water, not one that is riddled with turbulence. And then once we find that spot where there's just enough feedback that this is interesting and our curiosity can swim a bit, not so intense that we feel like we have to flee, then we let ourselves have that 1 minute of silence to let on our inhale, go on our exhale. Again, we'll take our time. Bend your left knee, slide that left knee to meet your right knee. And our next little bit of fun, a nice little slice of heaven, will involve our bolster, or whatever you've got as a bolster. And we'll situate that bolster or cushion or whatever you've got next to our right hip. Now I want you to notice that I'm not sitting on my bolster. I'll sit side saddle with my right hip against my bolster, and there's a little scissor to my legs. So I'm right up against it, and I slide my right arm down my bolster. And once I'm here lying down basically on my right arm, left arm comes up and over, and we can hold on to our forearm and gently encourage some space from our left hip, that's the top hip, out this left arm. So stay with that and enjoy. I like to think of trying to drop my left hip down as I take this left arm up and over. Like there's a little bit of an accordion that is letting go on the left side of my waist. Take your two hands to frame your bolster, and then encourage your chest to twist towards your bolster. And when I say encourage, it's not a corkscrew. You're just letting those left ribs melt. And you're finding a place which could include using props to lift it up towards you a little bit. And then we'll slide our chest and our waist down onto our bolster and let our head rest. I'm again a little concerned about my microphone. I think I'm okay. And then instead of holding yourself up with your forearms, let yourself let go in a new shape. This is a great opportunity to be instead of do. So you're not doing anything to hold yourself up. You're letting yourself be held up by the prop. And while we're here in this little restorative twist, in addition to your let on your inhale and go on your exhale, what if you were to let your exhale become longer than your inhale? In other words, your time on the foot on the brake part of your nervous system becomes longer. So it's let and then go. Something along those lines. 1 minute of silence to breathe and be here. Once again, we move really slowly on our transitions. So begin to place your hands on either side of that bolster and ease your way up, letting your head be the last thing to come up, and not in a rush. We'll slowly make our way to the other side. So all that means is that you don't have to relocate your bolster. I'm doing that so I don't turn my back on you. But it's now your left outer hip with that slightly scissored leg. You snuggle that bolster right up against your left hip, and we'll slide our left arm all the way out. And then once we get lying down on that left arm, it's our right arm up and over, and you can hold on to your forearm. And then think of sinking your right hip down as you draw that right arm long. Find a sweet spot here. Let's stay and breathe and be. And now place your hands on either side of that bolster. Encourage your right ribs to melt towards that bolster. So you're turning your chest, your belly. And then we'll lower down, and you'll come onto your forearms and eventually not even hold yourself up with your forearms. You're on the outside of the left side of your head. And we'll use this opportunity to make our exhales maybe even twice as long as our inhales. Notice if you are doing something to hold yourself up, and allow yourself to simply be held up by your prop. I'm going to drop you into the silence. Remember, you have your let, and then go is even longer here. And gently start to use your hands to encourage yourself up. And once we're up, we will use our bolsters once again, or whatever it is that you're using as a bolster. And we'll place the bottoms of our feet together and elevate our legs onto that bolster. It might be that you like to use a block underneath your head or your folded blanket underneath your head, but we'll carefully lie back. So my suggestion is to come back onto your forearms, see how you're doing, and then lie yourself down and snuggle your shoulder blades underneath you and just let gravity do the work. So once again, we come into our let on our inhale and our go on our exhale. And we'll see if we can make our exhales longer than our inhales. A couple moments here in a supported hip stretch. Now here's where you get to decide. If this feels terrific to you here with the supported hip stretch, you can stay exactly as we are. If you would like to straighten your legs over this bolster and just let the bolster support your knees and your heels may or may not touch the ground, that might be where you like to take your Shavasana final meditation. Like I said, you can also just keep the bottoms of your feet together. We'll slip into silence. We'll let our exhales become longer than our inhales. And we'll stay here for a couple of minutes together. You're more than welcome to stay exactly as you are. If you're ready, gently place your feet on your bolster. So some of us are coming from straight legs, some of us are coming from our supported hip stretch. Just like every transition, we're not going to go fast. We'll take our time and roll to either side. And then take your feet off that bolster and ease yourself up to any comfortable way to sit. And that might even involve sitting on top of your cushion, your bolster, whatever you've got. Once you're seated, palms up or down. Take a moment. See if there isn't a little bit more of that clear pool of water now that is you. And the beauty of a clear, undisturbed pool of water is not only can you see the beauty at its bottom within you, a clear pool of water reflects the beauty around it. So as you slowly go back out into your day, you will be a reflection of the beauty around you. And you'll be able to see the beauty within you all at the same time. I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I look forward to us doing this again together soon.